Hey, Megan Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. And joining me now, it is Eva O'Connor of Sunday's Child Theatre. You're very welcome.
Thanks very much, Meghann.
Now, very excited about this one, I have to say. Future Limerick Climate Arts Festival coming to Limerick, which is absolutely incredible. But first of all, tell us, where did the idea come about to kick off this festival?
So I run a theatre company with a girl called Hildegard Ryan, and we wrote a show a few years ago, which was kind of about the climate crisis. It's set in an underwater Ireland, and the only two sole survivors are these girls, and they're on the top of Liberty Hall in Dublin, and they're kind of looking back on their lives and what they could have done. And there's one of them kind of romanticizes their life before, and the other one says, well, we actually knew what was coming and we never acted. And so this play is called Afloat, and basically we toured this play and it went really well. And then we saw a call out for funding from the ESB. They have a Brighter Futures Award, and we decided to kind of go for this funding and essentially build a festival around our play. So we were really kind of interested in the idea of how so many artists want to engage with the topic of climate change, because, you know, the world is burning, and I think we all have this very strong sense that we need to act imminently. Other people also often feel very paralyzed and overwhelmed, and I think art is a really good way to tackle all those quite complex feelings and to help people process such a huge topic. So we applied for this funding, and now we have the play that I just mentioned going on, as well as spoken word, a scratch night, film screenings, a family fun day, a night of music, panel discussions, show for kids. And we just tried to build, I suppose, a really dynamic, exciting program that will sort of ask big questions, maybe not necessarily give all the answers, but just say to people, here's a program of events that really tackles really big issues head on, but will also be really entertaining, hopefully.
I think that's a really clever way of doing it, because I think, we all know about climate change. We all know what's going on. We all know we need to do our part. And, we are all, we're at home and individually we are trying our best. But I think sometimes it can be very much so thrown at you and you're kind of going, whoa, this is a lot of information. And, you can get a little bit overwhelmed. Whereas I think something like this, creative, as you mentioned, being creative and showing it from maybe a different perspective as well, will, I think, engage an audience more.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the shows that we have in it is called Rising, and it's an immersive audio experience. It's a co-production between Sunday's Child and a company called Broken Talkers. And there's an amazing line in that play where it talks about how in 1916 we rose up, and it kind of says now it's time for us to rise up again. And I think it's a really good way of thinking about climate change, and that we don't have to be defeated, we can come together. And I think art can really help people think about things kind of from a different angle. And yeah, you're right, everyone's blue in the face from doing their recycling, and then hearing the IPCC report. So there's so much kind of doom and gloom, but there's also still time to act. And I think art sits in that really kind of important middle ground that can help people kind of get their heads around it, I suppose. That's the idea behind the festival anyway. And I think, maybe a few years ago, people might have been like, oh, climate change, we know about climate change. And this is about saying, well, no, this is a whole program of events that is actually hopefully going to change how you think a bit. And at this point, we need to be taking any action we can. And I suppose as an artist, I always struggled with, well, what am I really doing? And I think this has, not that I'm saving the world by putting on a climate festival, but I do think that giving lots of young, especially young voices who are very much kind of leading the climate change movement, giving people like them kind of an opportunity to put on their work and talk to the people of Limerick and Ireland. I think that's really exciting.
I do have the list of the events here in front of me. I've got the poster, and I've been just going through, and some of you said there, and one as well that jumped out at me is the sustainability, the next generation, with Meghann. I know I probably pronounced that wrong, and Saoirse, and in conversation with Kira. So I think that's going to be a great event. Like Saoirse, I think I've seen Saoirse from when she was so young, out on the streets in Limerick campaigning for climate change. And I've seen her in quite a few talks now as well. And it is incredible to see that generation standing up and getting out there and being physically seen as well, which is super. But I think as well, as you mentioned there, the festival is for so many different age groups. I think that's where we need to realize that we need to get everyone involved, because I feel like the younger generation are incredible. They just seem to be,
They really are.
they get
Yeah,
it. They seem to
they really
understand.
are.
They know what's going
And
on.
like, if you look at any kind of societal shift, it will always be kind of the young people who are not afraid to push boundaries and make
Mm.
people feel uncomfortable. But I think you're right. It's about bringing all the generations with us. And yeah, I think, like, for example, we have a comedy on the Saturday night by a really great comedian called Colin O'Regan, and he's got a show called Climate Warrior. And I think it's important to say that, like, you can also kind of attend these events and like have a great laugh, or we have like an amazing night of music in Dolan's by the X Collective, and that's like hip hop and R&B and soul. And so that will be, that event is going to be an amazing celebration of music. And so I think we kind of, on purpose, we didn't want it to be all, we didn't just put on a series of lectures about how the world is ending. But I do think that, yeah, like you say, having a diverse range of things that can appeal to a diverse range of people is really important.
It is absolutely incredible. And I should remind people, the 16th to the 21st of May, there's tickets available there. So you can head to limetreetheatre.ie for more information as well. And while I have you here, I'd like to talk a bit more about Sunday's Child, and tell me more about that theatre company and when you set it up.
So I set up Sunday's Child about 10 years ago when I was in university in Edinburgh. I just started kind of making my own work. And yeah, since then we've done loads of plays, about probably 8 productions, and one of them, Overshadowed, was adapted for a series on BBC Three. We have another play called Mustard that won a Fringe first, that's touring at the moment. And yeah, I suppose it's just kind of built up over time into a company that I'm really proud of now. We having kind of gone from very much like student theatre into like more professional theatre, and now to be able to run a festival and platform other artists it's so exciting. I mean, it feels like a huge amount of work, and we're very much learning as we go. But like, we've been working with the Lime Tree Theatre, and they're just like an amazing team. And I think, like, when you're partnered with like a big theatre like that, it's kind of given us so much scope to grow the festival. And we're hoping that it can be like an annual thing that will come back next year as well.
Where can we keep up to date with Sunday's Child and all that's going on?
Sunday's Child, you can follow us on Instagram. We also have a website, which is sundayschildtheatre.com, and Twitter, Facebook, all the usual ways. And we also have a website for the festival, which is www.futurelimerick.ie, and that has all the events and also information about the company.
Super stuff, and I'll leave some links there as well in the description box. Eva O'Connor, it is so incredible to chat to you about the Future Limerick Climate Arts Festival. Of course, reminding that you're happening the 16th to the 21st of May, limetreetheatre.ie for all the ticket information. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be incredible. You have such a great lineup there, and I think it's going to be the first of many to come.
Thank you so much, Meghann.